Good morning. Good morning. So this is my first time ever going live. This is interesting because I don't really have anything specific I want to talk about except for just daily life. And I'm figuring if I start using this kind of like a journal in essence of the progress in my life, that it'll be a really cool tool to look back on as things manifest and as things evolve. If you're on this page, you probably know that I am an esthetician. I'm a licensed esthetician and a certified herbalist and nutritionist, as well as a birth doula. I'm not a practicing birth doula. I got my doula certification when my 7-year-old daughter was about 3 weeks old, just because of my experience through my pregnancy. Was very lonely. So I did have a doula in that experience, and to me it gave me some of the support that I was looking for. But mostly after having her, I felt a huge gap in the support that I really needed to be healthy mentally and to be the best version of myself. And so I decided that I was going to be a doula, and at some point I would like to do postpartum care for mothers after they give birth. Literally, once you get home from the hospital, you know, who's holding your hand through that process, and who is, you know, kind of guiding you on the best meals to eat, and hold the baby while you bathe, and checking in on you mentally. So a doula during birth will normally hold your hand through it. They're not medical staff. They hold your hand through the process. But afterwards, I'd like to have a group of women, a group of doulas that could show up and hold your hand through those first several weeks of being at home with your baby. So that's a little bit about me. Again, this is my first live, and one of the main things that has really been on my mind, because I'm sitting at the park now with my 5-year-old son, and we've been really struggling with this topic. I've been really struggling with this over like the last 2.5 years. My son has been in, this was our 9th school that he was just removed from, and he's 5. And so some of my videos, I have 6 children. I have 6 children, and I think that that's what I'm going to start using this platform to discuss. It's just the parenting, along with entrepreneurship, along with partnership with my husband, just the things that go along with our everyday lives. And like I said, just using it almost like a journal. And so today specifically, I'm at the park with my son. After he was removed from his 9th school, he was diagnosed with ADHD and ODD and anxiety. And it has been a journey. It has been really difficult, because with us, we don't see any of the things that the school sees with our family and friends. You know, there's no behavioral concerns. And so to have my baby being 5 and having been transitioned through 9 schools, I'm not really sure how to take that. I'm not really sure how to think of that. Even with this last school, when we transferred him in, it was specifically into a public school system so that he can get the evaluations for intervention, so that he can get the tools, so that he can get the tools that he needs, and the resources that he needs, because he does have a speech impairment. And then with the recent diagnosis, we just wanted to make sure that he didn't have to be continually put out of school, especially because the behavior did not seem severe enough. But because he was transferred into this specific school, they had the ability to revoke his enrollment because it was a transfer. So I need to go like to our home neighborhood, I guess, and put him there. I'm just tired. We're tired of putting him in school and then in essence him being rejected, or them saying that they can't help. So it was a journey. It took about 2 years to get his diagnosis, because of course, even with that, like, I don't know if any of you have children that have like ADHD or ODD or anxiety, but of course there's a stigma that goes along with those labels, and I think labels can be super effective in helping you to come to solutions for issues, but there is a stigma associated with that. So I think I was a little resistant at first of even getting a diagnosis, because a lot of people assume that it's intellectual impairment, and he doesn't have an intellectual impairment. He definitely has anxiety. He definitely, in the classroom, some of the experiences he's had, if he would say, oh, the teacher yells a lot, and he would cover his ears and he would hide under the desk. And even in our experience over these last several years in these last several facilities, we have not been met with like kindness or like I've that's the advantage of being an entrepreneur and going through this, because I could spend hours at a time in his classroom, hours per week in his classroom, and see that the teachers are not equipped to deal with the level of anxiousness that they're dealing with. So a lot of the kids are there. And most of the day seems to be spent on behavior. And what I would see my son do, my son would get super uncomfortable. He would get super anxious because of all the noise and all the behaviors and all the things, and then he would just like retreat. He would try to leave the class. He would be under the desk. He would be covering his ears. He would be crying. He would be lashing out. And it's beyond me, because we never see him act like that anywhere else. But of course, at home, it's a peaceful environment, and we work intentionally and diligently to create an environment where he does feel safe. And so it has been disheartening, because on one hand, the teachers are not equipped to necessarily deal with specific disabilities in the mainstream classroom, but there was just a deep desire for more empathy and understanding. And if you've been in education for a long time and you see certain things, you don't have any opinion on it. Like, I'm there having conferences, I'm there sitting in the class, I'm volunteering on campus. Like, it just feel like nobody had any solution or understanding. And I guess they're only supposed to, understand but so much, because he's our child, But today I'm at the park trying to decide, do we even try again? Like, do we even try to put him at another school? Like 9 schools in 2 years. And the thing is, the other facilities were like daycares and private facilities and things like that. And then so to transition him into the public school system, it would mean that there will be resources, there would be intervention, there would be things like that. But I don't know. So, and then how would that impact our business? Because me and my husband are self-employed, and so for most of the time I could have the system is failing us. I was completely shocked. I went up to the school twice, this last school, to go just see him. The first time I went, they told me, I had a meeting first with the principal and his teacher and the guidance counselor, and they said that if I did a background check, I could come and visit the classroom with him. But for lunch visits, I didn't have to do that, because the lunch is isolated. Like, the child and the parent are isolated from the rest of the students. So I said, okay. I went ahead and did a background check, and I showed up to have lunch with him. I got there, they told me, no, you can't do that. You can only do it on Fridays. I'm like, I just had a meeting. Nobody mentioned that it had to be Friday, but okay. Well, can you call him down here so I can give him the lunch that I brought him? Gave him the lunch. The next week I go, because my background check was clean and approved. I emailed the staff and said my background check was approved. And then I go to campus to have a visit to kind of see what's going on in the classroom. Of course, he's not going to behave like that when I'm around. He does not behave like that around us, which also made me second guess the diagnosis to begin with, because if he has enough wherewithal to control himself in front of us, then I felt like that means that there is some control there. But again, the environment with us is it's polar opposite to the environment at school. So anyway, I pop up and I'm like, hey, I'd like to visit. I'd like to go into the classroom and kind of get a gauge on what's going on. And they told me, no, you have to make an appointment to go into the classroom. I said, this is the second time I've come up here in 2 weeks to see my child, and I'm being told no. Well, we don't know what's going on in the classroom. They could be doing something important. I said, well, that you can call down to the classroom and you can find out what's going on, and if I can come down there. Like, I don't understand. And they were like, oh, well, no, I think they're about to start doing something really important in like 5 minutes. And I was like, can I speak to the principal? Because, like, I'm not understanding. This is this is what y'all need me to do. Y'all need me to come into this classroom and see what's going on for myself. Y'all need me to support his teacher and whatever help she needs from me in getting past this. So why you won't let me into the classroom? Like, that just made me hella uncomfortable. So I went and talked to the principal, and we're sitting there talking. I told him I didn't feel comfortable with that, and like, you know, can you call him down here? And he was like, yeah, I guess we could call him down here, but I was gonna talk to you about that. I was gonna let him finish out the week, but the system has decided that they like to revoke his enrollment because of his behavior on campus. Like, what behavior? He's been sent home twice in the last 30 days for like lashing out, like crying or hiding under the tables, things like that. But I don't think it was anything that would warrant a complete revocation of his enrollment. Like, I was like, so this whole time you've been sitting here talking to me about this, and you knew that y'all had revoked his enrollment while he's in the evaluation process, mind you. So with the public school system, you know, it could take 30 to 45 days for them to do the evaluations for ADHD and interventions. And so he's in this evaluation process. They have his diagnosis. They have all the paperwork from his pediatrician. So like, what do you mean you've revoked his enrollment? I said, that's fine. Bring my child. He was like, well, I was going to let him finish the week. No, baby, I don't want him here if you don't want him here. And if you believe that he is so out of control, if that's how y'all view him, I don't want him in your care. I'm not doing that. Bring me my child, please. And bring all of his things, because he's not coming back ever. Obviously, because y'all revoked his enrollment. He was like, well, you got to go online and withdraw him. No, I don't. You revoked his enrollment. And I want that on record, so that when I'm trying to get resources and help, it shows that at every corner there has been, in essence, an expulsion for a 5-year-old who has never put his hands on anybody. So I don't understand. Maybe there's people on here that will have resources or understanding about ADHD, about anxiety in children. I'm really hoping to find like trauma-informed educators or some way, because I've been through several agencies that have all referred. They really feel like it's best to put him in just public school, because we didn't have him there before, and because public school would be able to do his speech therapy, would be able to do his occupational therapy and things like that for his speech and his ADHD. But even with his work, like, he gets his work done, but then it just depends on the environment. So I don't know. Luckily, like I said, we are self-employed, so today he is with me. I do have about 4 or 5 clients this afternoon, and so he will be with me, and he'll be doing some worksheets and activities. But right now we're at the park trying to burn off some energy, but this is all new to me. I'm almost certain I'm undiagnosed, and I have started the process in trying to get a diagnosis so that I can better understand how ADHD works. And I am a holistic practitioner, so I am looking up all of the things and working on getting him what he needs to just feel right in his body and in his mind, and being able to just control his emotions and regulate himself. But that's hard for adults, much less a 5-year-old. So he was prescribed I don't know how this works, because I've never gone live before, so, and I don't know who this is. Can you comment first? Whoever that was that just asked to join the live, can you comment what you'd like to talk about first? Because I've never done this before. But he was prescribed 2 different prescriptions, and when I read the side effects, they were serious. They were serious. I joined a bunch of support groups on Facebook, and I really just mostly sit back and read the comments of other parents and the medicines that they're giving their children and the measures that they're taking and the books that they're reading, so that I can kind of just educate myself. But even listening to the stories about their children, I don't have those experiences. A lot of them are really struggling with the behaviors of their children, and specifically at home, and we just don't have that experience. So something about the social setting of him, even we went to a birthday party last week, and he tried to engage. It was like a bounce house, but there was a lot of kids, and so he just kind of came out. He doesn't really talk a lot anyway, and so he just kind of retreated, and he sat with me, and he found a toy that he could play with independently, but he kind of knows how to remove himself. And I think that's the thing in this school system, is that he can't really remove himself without it being an issue. You know, they want to incorporate him into the group setting, even when he says I'm not comfortable, even when he says this is too much, or it's too noisy, or so-and-so keeps hitting me. And I don't know if y'all have been sitting in these classrooms, if y'all are familiar, but I challenge you this month before the year ends to go for a couple of days and sit. Hey baby,
can you play with me?
I sure can. I'm almost done. Okay, but stay in eyesight. To go sit in your child's classroom and just watch the behaviors of the children there, and how overly stimulated they are. I had panic attacks several times when sitting in the classroom. I had to leave after about an hour or so and even go talk to the administrators. Like, the teachers need more help, the teachers need more support, like the teachers need more training, you know, like something's going on here. And the thing is, like, we don't use devices and stuff at our home. The TV is a rare occasion unless we're all watching it together, and even the shows they watch are typically going to be like PBS, you know. So low stimulation. I know, only at our house. So so I don't really know, but if y'all have any suggestions on how you're balancing, you know, working and caring for a child who has these difficulties, I would appreciate some insight. If you know of any alternatives to the medications that are typically prescribed to children at this age, I'm open to that. So I will just document, you know, our processes and the things that we're going to try to you know, help him to assimilate into a school system, because I do think that it's important that he has that social aspect of his life. But I also know that we have 6 children, so he gets that social aspect at home too. We're also putting him into extracurricular activities. He's played soccer before, and this year he's going to play basketball. Excuse me. So I don't know. We're just doing the best we can with what we got. But if you have any recommendations or any input that's constructive, you know, we're open to it. And, you know, if you're in the Dallas area and you need a facial or some lashes, I'm your girl, okay? Again, this is my first live. Don't really know where I'm going with this, but this has been a heavy situation on us, just trying to figure out which way to go and how best to manage it. And so I think that this might be a good way to kind of talk it through right here on this platform. So yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Can you play with me now?
Of course, baby.
Yeah.